Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Ward Blackwell, Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Dental Association. I'd like to welcome you to our bi-monthly leadership webinar series. We call these shows Bridging the Info Gap, and we have a lot of information to share with you tonight. First, I apologize. I'm talking softly because I had a procedure this past week that I'm still recovering from, but just bear with me. We'll still get everything in. First thing is always is housekeeping. For those of you who are listening, you are in listen-only mode. You will not be able to speak. However, if you are an invited leader, you are going to be able to ask questions by typing them into the question box that is located in the control panel, which typically appears on the right of your screen. Just click on the little arrow by questions, type your question in that box, and we will take them at the end. I will direct them to the appropriate panelist. Please be aware that one of our panelists, Dr. Jim Boyle, has to leave a little early tonight, so we will try to take questions directed to him immediately after his presentation. Everything else should be fairly straightforward. Those of you who happen to be joining us by live stream, unfortunately, you can't answer questions, but we hope you do get a lot out of this. We always like to acknowledge our sponsors when we do these. That helps us keep this going. PDA Member Advantage, which is a program of Pennsylvania Enterprise Resource Corporation, a PDA subsidiary, is always underwriting these programs for us. And two of those PDA Member Advantage partner companies we'd like to recognize tonight: Panacea Financial. This is banking by doctors for doctors. They offer tremendous service and savings specifically for PDA members on everything from personal loans to practice financing and soon student loan refinancing. And DMEX is another partner we recognize tonight. They are into refining precious metals, and you get a special higher rate when you are a PDA member and choose to send your precious metals to them. So that's the commercial part of the program. I'd like to introduce tonight's panel now, starting off with Dr. Jim Boyle, our ADA trustee. We have two other ADA reports from Dr. Mike Korch and Dr. Pete Korch from two different ADA councils. Dr. Gary Davis, who's the Mom and PA Event Chair. Sara Morris, our PDA Membership Engagement Coordinator. And wrapping up with Dr. Cary Limberakis, PDA President. That is tonight's panel. So without further ado, knowing that he's on a deadline to get off the call, I'm going to turn things over to our ADA trustee, Dr. Boyle. Dr. Boyle, you're still muted, I believe.
Yes, I am. Sorry. Thank you, Ward, and I'm glad you're doing better following your procedure. So you're looking great. I'm talking to you all from the Mechanicsburg picnic grounds. I'm here for the state Republican committee annual picnics. I'll be meeting with a number of our representatives on the Republican side and discussing the issues that we have at PDA. But just to let you know, things are going well at the American Dental Association. This month, our candidates for treasurer of the American Dental Association will be submitting their input, and so that'll be kicking off, and the election will take place this fall. What you see on the screen, for those of you that have not been to Chicago, that is the current ADA headquarters at 211 East Chicago. This building, for me personally, means a lot, as I walked by ADA headquarters every day for 4 years during my dental school years at Northwestern University. And I looked at it as the ivory tower and the site where everything good and future was occurring at the American Dental Association. The reason for showing you the building is this week we will be closing on the sale of the American Dental Association headquarters building at 211 East Chicago. I will share with you that I'm excited about this. This is an incredible offer that the ADA received. Just to give you some background on some of the thoughts and discussions on this, once we got through the pandemic, the ADA took stock of how it was using its building. Now, a number of the floors are leased out to other entities, but the specific requirements for the American Dental Association staff was not what it used to be. Plus, with the recent acquisition and merger with Forsyth Research Institute, all of our research is going to be moved to Boston. So a lot of the research has been done in this building will no longer be done, thereby opening up that amount of space. The building has been occupied by the American Dental Association when it was built in the mid 60s. And the ADA had to decide, or the board had to decide, whether we continue with the planned improvements because the building was so old, or take this serious offer to discussion, which we did. And I said the closing will be this week. The ADA will be moving beginning in January to 411 North Michigan, which, for those of you that are familiar with Chicago, is closer to the Chicago River. So it's a very nice area of still the million dollar mile of Chicago on Michigan Avenue. So we will be leasing back to the new owners for the next 7 or 8 months, and then we will be transitioning over to our new site in early 2025. I will share with all of you, this is just one example of the transformation the American Dental Association is undergoing. This is a physical transformation. We also will be selling, and we have under contract, our office building in Washington, D.C., which should be taking place this fall, should everything go through. The ADA still owns the two buildings that are used for both the Congress, or the House of Representatives, as well as the Senate. So two different buildings, but the office building is under contract and is anticipated to be sold this fall, which is also good for the American Dental Association. You're going to hear a little bit about our membership model. That's another transformation that the ADA is going through. But one of the other things, as I mentioned before, is the ADA Foresight, the research institute that we now have in Boston. What this means for all of us members, just a couple of items, is a more robust seal program. We'll be able to evaluate many more products than previously done. And we are also going to start a new product evaluation program. So everything coming in to work with the profession of dentistry, such as scanners and whatnot, are going to be evaluated through the Forsyth Institute and then given a rating so that you as members will be able to see what these products can do and how we evaluate them and what are the pros and cons of these products. So I'm excited about this. Plus, we're excited about the Foresight, the research aspect that will bring in under the for-profit entity of Forsyth much more non-dues revenue. Now, if I could have the next slide, please. There it is. I've already had this discussion with our Board of Trustees at the Pennsylvania Dental Association. And I'm showing you this slide to emphasize where we are with membership. We're very happy with the members that we have, but we all have to understand the generational differences that we have in our profession. Right now, the highest market share that we have in terms of generation are the baby boomers. Well, as you know, the baby boomers are aging and retiring. And as the baby boomers retire, the market share is decreasing. So, for example, the Texas Dental Association, which is very financially sound, but within a matter of a year and a half, has gone from a market share of, say, roughly 58% to a current market share of 44%. And so and this is happening around the country. We in Pennsylvania are right at the crest of this crash, it's called, of the baby boomers retiring. And so both the ADA recognizes this, and we've had a discussion with our Board of Trustees at the PDA. So we have to come up with issues to address this. And one of them is the new membership model. Membership model as a pilot will be instituted in 6 of our current districts, one of which are states, one of which is the state of Washington, the state of Nevada, the state of New Mexico. Our friends in New Jersey will also be part of the pilot in 2025, as well as New Hampshire and Washington, D.C. Any state going forward that wishes to be part of the pilot will be welcome to, but these are the first 6 that will be part of the pilot in 2025. Without going through the entire presentation, I will share with you that the membership model is based on products and services, that members choose which product and services they wish to take advantage of, and then dues are structured around that. So you should see a decrease in dues. The hope is with the decrease in dues, with the increased market share, that it becomes a net zero, but we're also counting on the increased non-dues revenue as part of that, coming in from the Forsyth Institute. And of course, the other main thing that's coming up is the discussions and the moving forward with our credit union. And just think of what a credit union run by dentistry for dentistry can do. Next slide, please. So as we move forward with looking at and managing our membership and the new membership model, I put this slide up just to emphasize that with the rebranding of the American Dental Association, the restructuring of our membership model, that I foresee the tripartite becoming even closer. That the ADA, as you see, is the carrier in the middle, but all the surrounding state associations and districts will become much more intertwined, especially financially, with the American Dental Association. So again, we all need to be heading in the same direction, all of us individually managed at the state level and our local level, but still with the ADA setting the course and direction for where we need to go in the future. So I appreciate your attention. I do have to get off and get over and start talking about our issues with our Republican legislators, but if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them at this time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boyle. I really do appreciate your taking time out of a very hectic schedule, obviously. And at this time, there aren't any questions in the question box for you,
Okay,
so you get to
thank
go
you.
schmooze and represent us well.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your leadership series. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boyle. With that, we're going to continue on with our ADA reports, and the next up is Dr. Michael Korch. He is PDA's representative on the Council on Dental Practice. Dr. Korch.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So, just coming to you. I'm starting my third year of the 4-year appointment for the Council of Dental Practice, and so we just recently had convened May 9th and 10th for our in-person meeting. And so I'll give you a little bit of information. Next slide, our 3 main subcommittee reports. We covered the Dental Team Wellness Advisory Committee, which I'm a member of. Also the Digital Dentistry Technology and Innovation Subcommittee, and then Practice and Policy makes up the bulk of our work. So moving on to the next slide. So the Dental Team Wellness Advisory Committee, give you a little bit of an update. What's going on there? Efforts have been started with the National Academy of Medicine for a national plan for health workforce well-being. So far, there has been an approach in 2-part strategy for the adoption of best type of practice for their dental well-being at the state and local level. So the goal of the DWAC committee is to expand Wellness Ambassador Program, which was started in the last 2 years, and expand it to access for all dentists to take use of. To help improve the mental health of dentists, and also our big focus this year is to remove punitive mental health and substance abuse questions from licensure and relicensures. So that has become the main focus on the last 6 months, and working with actually there were 16 states that showed interest. The committee has picked 3 states to run a kind of pilot program, and working training with the American Medical Association staff to present audit to state boards on the rewriting of the licensure application questions pertaining to mental health as well as substance abuse. And so there's a toolkit that's being formed as we speak to see how these 3 pilot states get some questions on relicensures changed, and not leave them as open-ended to be detrimental to anyone that has had issues in the past. So also DWAC has fully up and started running their dental wellness being index. You can find it on the ADA website. It's a questionnaire that you can take. We'll categorize dentists into different categories. So we encourage all dentists to get on and make use of the well-being index. So that's pretty much for everything for DWAC. Digital dentistry and technology. We'll move to that next slide. Digital dentistry and technology innovation subcommittee, three main focuses are digital technology, development of three-dimensional 3D printing and a guide for its standards, and also artificial intelligence and electronic dental records for interoperability. So main focus here is we have a committee that we're meeting with most vendors of all types that are to develop programs where we can bring interoperability into the private dental practice. So we can share dental records, x-rays, and any other information that would be needed. And so it's a big task to take on. We're at the footprint of it, so we'll see where it leads to. Last, I would say category would be practice and policy. We've this past meeting, we reviewed 28 policies that will be presented to the House in October for approval. So, and then the last main focus for the Council of Dental Practice would be practice issues. So workforce strategy session from the ADA Practice Institute was, I intended, our numbers for this year are actually increasing, which is good. Dentist enrollment has been up 2% at large through the country. And as far as dental hygienists, it's increased by 5% this past year. Dental assisting has decreased by 4%. So we are not getting the amount of dental assistants in offices, and it's slowly dwindling. So we're partnering with the American Dental Hygiene Association as well as the American Dental Association of Assistants, and also the American Association of Dental Office Management to promote dental careers. So there's a big push to get back into local schools as far as colleges, high schools, to promote careers in dentistry. But as of since COVID, our workforce is down 32%. So ADA is asking for help. Any ideas at a local and state level to increase the amount of workforce into dentistry? So that's kind of a quick summary of where we are at. And so for me, any questions for the Council of Dental Practice, I'm always available, or let me know if there are any.
Good. Thank you very much, Dr. Korch. I know workforce is a issue that's on a lot of people's minds. It's interesting to see the actual number of people in the pipeline, even if that's going to take a little while for the benefits to get there. Do stick around because there probably will be some questions for you towards the end of the hour. But for now, we're going to move to our representative on the Council on Ethics, Bylaws, and Judicial Affairs, Dr. Peter Korch.
Thank you, Ward. And thank all the audience members for taking time out on a Monday night to listen to the information we're providing to you. I'm finishing the first half year of my first year on the council. So it's been an interesting experience so far. I'm looking forward to the next 3.5 years serving the ADA on this council. I have no slides. My report's going to be strictly verbal. For those of you attending SmileCon in New Orleans on Friday, October 18th, the council will be giving 2 CE courses of the topic of ethics. I encourage all of you, if you're there, to attend. For the past 10 years, the council has sponsored a student's ethics video that allows dental students to become familiar with the ADA Code of Ethics. All dental students are encouraged to participate in this. If any of you listening are affiliated with a dental school, I encourage you to find students who might want to make such a video. The entries close in early September, so there's still plenty of time. Those of you who read JADA know that intermittently the council has an ethical moment article. But what you may not know is that we also have an ethics podcast called Dental Dilemmas. We've been doing this for a couple of years. There are approximately 4.5 million podcasts in the world right now. There's only one that deals with dental ethics, and ours is it. So if you're looking for an interesting podcast, oh, there we go. Gary, thank you for showing that. If you're looking for an interesting podcast that might shed some light in some problems you're having, I encourage you all to subscribe to it, download it, and listen to it. The House of Delegates had Resolution 217-2023 referred to the council. It has to do with the ADA member conduct policy. What they want us to do, what they asked us to do, was to amend the procedures for adjudicating alleged violations of the ADA member conduct policies so that those procedures align with the procedures for adjudicating alleged violations in the ADA principles of ethics and code of professional conduct. The council has completed this work and it will be presented to the House of Delegates this fall. In mid-January, the council was asked by the governance committee of the ADA Board of Trustees to develop a code of conduct suitable for the ADA Board of Trustees. We did that. The ADA board reviewed and with some minor modifications approved it. They are encouraging all the states to adopt a similar code of conduct for their boards. This should be already been available to PDA, but if not, certainly can contact me. We did do some minor review of the governance documents of ADA, just basically being sure that everything was consistent. We changed some words to provide some clarity in the document. And that actually concludes my report. I would be happy to answer any questions someone has for the Council on Ethics, Bylaws, and Judicial Affairs.
Thank you very much, Dr. Korch. I've got to say, I think that's a perfect role for you, by the way, on the CBJA. As it was a perfect role for our next presenter, Dr. Davis, for quite some time. Was worried he was going to jump in and start a CBJA report at any time, but instead he's held off, and now he'll talk about mom and PA. So take it away, Dr. Davis.
Thank you very much. Yep, I guess I'm wearing the wrong hat. I have my CBJA hat on, but I'll put on my mom and PA hat. So.
Well, I was going to say, Dr. Davis, you had the SBJA hat on, and I have the mom and pa T-shirt on. So.
All right. Great. Thank you, Pete. So I was asked to just talk a little bit about mom and pa today, and so let's go to the first slide if we can. And one of the things we wanted to talk about was the benefits of the merger. As I think everyone knows, the mom and PA merged into the Pennsylvania Dental Foundation now, and we feel like there's benefits for everyone. We're one now, we're not really two, we're one, but some of the benefits for the PDA, one would be advocacy. the PDA, we feel like the PDA brand would be enhanced by the mom and pop, especially in dealing with the Department of Health officials, Department of State officials, legislators. They used to talk to me and say, you know, are you a part of the PDA? And I would say no, but most of our leaders are from the PDA. Now I can say, and all the members of Mom and Pop can say, yeah, we are part of the PDA. And I think that's a powerful message. Fundraising, you know, we used to, you know, our only way we really made, you know, money or contributions to the foundation, Pennsylvania Dental Foundation, was through members, right? And when we would renew our membership each year. Well, now, not only do we have fundraising on due statements, but now we'll have dental suppliers, dental manufacturers, insurance companies, and other outside agencies and individuals that will be contributing to our foundation. And I think that's really great to have that. Tax benefits is potential tax benefits. Other states are, you know, leveraging, you know, their strong foundations to help the members and to help their dental associations. And I'm not an expert in that, so I'm not going to speak to that. Maybe Ward can speak to that, maybe if he wants to later, but that is a potential benefit. And then the another benefit for the PDA is leadership opportunities. During the Pennsylvania Dental meeting, Jay and I were talking about Mom and Pop, and he said that Mom and Pop, especially now that it's going to become part of the PDA, would be a great opportunity for leadership, you know, development and opportunities. So people like from the Leadership Academy would be great people to step in and become co-leads for our many leaders in the Mom and Pop that, you know, maybe are getting older, maybe getting a little burnout and want more help. So we think that's a great benefit. And then from a perspective of the mom and PA, there's a lot of benefits for us. Administrative support. I mean, we typically put in, you know, 150 to 200 hours a year on administrative duties that we're doing. And now, you know, we can pass on some of that to the PDA, which we greatly appreciate. Legal support, it's always great to have the, you know, support of the PDA legal team on that. Better communication. I mean, you know, basically Mom and Pop has a website and a Facebook page, and that's really all that we have. We just don't have the capability of having a great communication. And now that we're part of the PDA, I know our communication to potential volunteers, to potential patients, it's going to increase, you know, vastly because of our, you know, merger with the PDA. And the PDA has, you know, more sophisticated software, you know, like I said, than we're using. So, you know, we just didn't have that. We didn't have the time, I think, really to do that. And now we're able to do that with working with the PDA. Access to mailing lists, you know, we can get more volunteers. We can reach out to more people. And really for the, what we call the executive team. So the executive team is Bernie Dishler, Ron Heyer, Bruce, Terry, and myself. And, you know, to be honest, we're all getting older, you know, and we're getting a little bit tired. We've been doing this since 2012. And, you know, we want, you know, more help, and we feel that this partnership will provide a better chance for sustainability of Mom and Pop. So that we're really extremely happy about this merger, and I think it's a win-win for everyone. So that's benefits of the merger. And then Cary and Ward asked me to also give a little report on Mom and Pop 2024, and I hope everyone knows that it's in Reading this year on June 20th to 22nd. June 20th is setup day, and 21st and 22nd is treatment days at the Santander Arena. I really want to thank all the PDA leaders. We have so many great leaders in the PDA that help out with Mom and Pop. We do have some more needs though. Our biggest need is patient ambassadors, which is not, you know, not usually a dental position, but, you know, friends, family, please, you know, if you're on this call, you know, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. If you belong to a group like Rotary, you know, Kiwanis, whatever, talk to the other members, talk to your churches, and see if you can get volunteers to sign up for Mom and Pa 2024 to be a patient ambassador, because we really need them. As far as clinicians are concerned, we're still in need of endodontists. We're still in need of hygienists. So if you have hygienists working with you that would like to volunteer, we really could use their help. And we're short restorative dentists. So I think we're like 20 out of 32 pretty much average each day. And Cary can speak to that. Cary is our lead for restorative dentistry. And we actually still need some food, right? If you have any friends that are food vendors, we could really use some donations for snacks, for small bottles of water. In the past, we've used big bottles of water, but we're so busy at Mom and Pa that people just drink part of the water and put it down, and then we end up finding all these half-filled, plastic bottles that, people didn't finish and they put down, they forgot where they put them. So small bottles of water would be great for the volunteers and for the patients that go there, and any food. So those are the needs that we have. Things are looking really good for Mom and Pa 2024. We're very excited about it, and we hope that you'll be a part of it. And Ward, I'll give it back to you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Davis. And yeah, that's those of you who've never been to a mom. It's an incredibly rewarding and memorable experience. Anybody who's even remotely considered volunteering should do so. And just since you mentioned the tax advantages, it basically comes down to, because the foundation now being a 501c3 charitable organization does not pay as much in taxes, or is not taxed on as many things as PDA. A lot of things that can be bought that both organizations will benefit from, but if it goes through the foundation, with MAPA being the major program, it will wind up having an impact. That's the simplest way it'll have that benefit. So since you asked me to chime in on that.
Thank you.
Now we're going to shift to another specific area of PDA. Our new dentist committee has been extremely active of late, and our staff liaison to that committee is Sara Morris, PDA Membership Engagement Coordinator. So Sara, give us the rundown.
Thank you, Ward. Yes, the first event was National Signing Day. For this year, it was held in person again, like last year. And at the University of Pittsburgh, it was held on Thursday, February 15th. And we spoke to about 67 students. And that same night, we held a social at the Grand Concourse. And then we hosted 26 students and 5 member dentists. And then for the Philadelphia dental schools for both Temple and University of Pennsylvania, they were held on Wednesday, March 20th. And we spoke to about 100 students at the University of Pennsylvania and 90 students at Temple. And also that same night, we had a social that was held at Pod, and that hosted 25 students and 5 member dentists. And everybody that attended, both the students and the dentists, were appreciative to speak with one another. And the students were also very excited to gain insight into the profession outside of dental school. And then another thing is that we did a chair yoga recording. The new dentist committee really enjoyed the yoga instructor that we had last year, Saturday morning at PDM. And they wished to have the same instructor record a chair yoga video so that all of our members could reference it at any time. And this video was recorded in late January, and it is up on the website. So for all of our members can go and look and gain experiences on stretches that could help them to offset or prevent the muscular imbalance that can result from years of delivering dental care. And then speaking of wellness, we also held the Wellness Paradigm, Lifestyle Medicine for Healthcare Professionals and Patients. This was a webinar that was held on Wednesday, February 21st by Dr. Purnima Hernandez, who is a pediatric dentist in New Jersey. She helped explain that as a healthcare professionals, you may sometimes have unintentionally designed a lifestyle which may not align with our physiology and or genetics. For instance, the daily stresses of running a practice, managing employees, managing patients, and meeting the needs of your families may leave you in a time famine for yourself, meaning that you might not have adequate time for self-care. And then long-term, engagement in such a strenuous lifestyle can reliably take its toll on your body, influence on its physiology, lead to development of pathology and ultimately chronic diseases. And she went into the detail that lifestyle factors, health behaviors, and their influence on the individual's physiology was shared with attendees, along with ways to identify behavior change strategies to influence self-health. And the non-negotiable and modifiable health behaviors include sleep, diet, stress, movement, and connections. And the modifiable health behaviors do not have to be changed all at once, but by making actionable goals and sticking to a routine, your lifestyle can be changed. And then the New Dens Committee held a after party at this year's current PDM. Last year was the inaugural after hours social event. So this year we had 18 attendees that consisted of new dentists, but also dental students who registered for PDM. The committee was very happy with the attendance, and it was only advertised by emailing those new dentists and dental students that were registered for the event. And then a very upcoming event is going to be a Hershey Park Social. This will be taking place this Saturday, June 8th from 11 to 3:30. And the day will help consist of networking and socializing with fellow dentists. And then there will be a provided lunch. You can experience the thrill of roller coasters. And also there will be some case-based studies presented by the New Dentist Committee members. And you can see on the screen the registrants we have. And then we have 10 new dentists, 7 dental students, and 2 spouses for this event. And then another upcoming event is a new dentist panel for dental students. This will be taking place on Tuesday, June 11th. I believe there's 3 to 4 panel members, and all of them are coming from the New Dentist Committee. And these new dentists will talk about their experience graduating and life after dental school, including hardships they may have experienced, that they can kind of pass some knowledge onto the dental students so they can either get through the hardship or maybe avoid it altogether. And then there will just be time at the end for students to ask questions. And then thank you, and back to you, Ward.
Thank you, Sarah. That is one busy committee, and we're very blessed to have so many enthusiastic young members planning so many events for us. With that, we've come now to the report of our PDA president, Dr. Cary Limberakis, and I know you've got a lot to fill us in on that's taken place since the last time we had a leadership webinar. So, Dr. Limberakis, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ward. Good evening, everyone. This is my first report as president. I'd like to apprise you all of the activities from the time of the last Leadership E-Series webinar on April 2nd. But before I do that, I'd like to express my wishes for a speedy recovery and a get well soon to our dear PDA Executive Assistant, Barb Mladenoff. Shortly after the recent PDM, Barb fell and sustained a proximal fracture of her humerus bone up here, essentially incapacitating her with respect to her duties here at the PDA. Barb serves as an important role at the PDA as the staff liaison to the Board of Trustees and the Bylaws Committee. She prepares and communicates the agenda and workbook for the Board of Trustees meetings and transcribes the minutes, among many other duties. She has been sorely missed at headquarters these last few weeks and will quite likely miss another 4 to 6 weeks before she's ready to return, hopefully good as new. The week after our last leadership, and we can advance the slide. Good. The week after our last Leadership E-Series webinar, I participated in my very first ADA Lobby the Hill Day. I had been to Lobby Day in Harrisburg, but had never attended the ADA's version. What a great experience to actually witness advocacy in action, especially with our dental students doing much of the advocacy. Pennsylvania had its biggest ever contingent visiting Washington, D.C. with dental students from Penn, Pitt, and Temple, And I would like to recognize and thank past President Rich Grossman and ADPAC 3rd District Representative Darlene Oleski for assembling and organizing a terrific Pennsylvania delegation. Let's go to the next slide. According to the ADA, more than 1,200 dentists and dental students attended, including a record number of students and new dentists. 55 out of 70 dental schools were represented overall, as were all but 2 states. 48 states were there. In addition, more than $100,000 was raised for ADPAC, and next year's lobby day will be March 30th to April 1st. Make plans now to attend. It is quite the experience. I would like to congratulate our new PDA President-elect Ted Rockwell and our new Treasurer-elect Stan Markevich. And I'd like to also welcome our new trustees to the Board of Trustees, as you see them. I'd also like to thank Jim Mancini, our new board secretary, for accepting that responsibility. A synopsis of President Grossman's last Board of Trustees meeting on April 19th includes the following. The board requesting a modification to a proposal for a residency program director's event. The new dentist committee being asked to assist in planning National Signing Day events. Up to $2,500 allocated to fund PDA's participation in another job fair program. And adoption of a new policy regarding free or discounted exhibit tables at PDA events for certain organizations. The board also approved a number of appointments to the Strategic Forecasting Committee. Some came from the board, some came from the Council of Districts, and one at-large appointment that is pending acceptance. The board ratified the following recommendations for endorsement from the PERC board that you can see on the screen. PDA had previously endorsed other vendors for all these products, but feels strongly these changes will offer better value to our members. The governance task force is continuing on with its charge, with all its intricacies, to transition the PDA to a tripartite, with Dr. Linda Himmelberger now serving as chair and Dr. Samantha Abad serving as the GTF's board liaison. The members of the GTF were chosen so that the members would be diverse demographically and geographically. A new PDA member benefit will launch next month with the Legal Services Program. Members can obtain a free 30-minute consultation with an attorney to discuss whatever issue they might have. Should more than 30 minutes be necessary, an additional time slot will be billed to the member at a discounted rate. In a couple of months, we will be having our next Family Vacation CE Dental Conference at the beautiful Hyatt Regency Chesapeake in Cambridge, Maryland, just south of St. Michael. Chairperson Maria Tokolowski has put together a great CE program for each of those mornings with highly sought after speakers like Dr. Deborah Goff and Dr. Tom Viola presenting on topics that are both timely and contain practical information for you to put into use into your practice as soon as you get home. Up to 9 hours of CE credit is available. So you will likely be able to write off your vacation while enjoying a 4-diamond golf resort with a plethora of amenities and activities on site. Those of us who attended last year enjoyed a great camaraderie, food and drink, try the crab cakes, CE, and fun in the sun. And it's very family oriented, so bring your kids. The deadline for hotel reservations is July 16th, so don't put it off any longer. Next, a joint meeting of the 2024 and 2025 annual meeting steering committees was held last month to review and discuss the purpose of the PDM. What is it we are trying to accomplish, and to review the 2024 PDM and come away with any improvements. The joint committees agreed that the purpose of the PDM is to acknowledge our members and leaders, provide CE, conduct an annual business meeting as is required, give a voice to our members, and build friendship and camaraderie. The tentative theme of next year's PDM is Be Well, and will take place at the Conference Center at the Desmond Malvern in southeastern Pennsylvania on April 25 and 26. The steering committee, chaired by Dr. Ron Heyer, made their decision on this venue based on its location, affordability, and proximity to local attractions. During my tenure as president, I would like to start the planning for a leadership conference with a theme of Women in Leadership. Dr. Renee Fennell volunteered to take on this challenge and bring it to the DEI committee to begin developing this program. In addition, I would like to see the return of Lobby the Hill Day in Harrisburg, where we can gather members and dental students from across the Commonwealth to advocate for our profession and to also cultivate camaraderie. Lastly, I'd like to comment on the ADA news that came out May 10th regarding 3 benefit trends that we should all be aware of and be prepared for, or at least speak up against. Some dental insurers have begun changing frequency limits from 24 months to 60 months on fillings. In other words, they won't cover a filling if it's less than 60 months. It has to be, if it's less than 24 months. It has to, fillings have to last 5 years. Well, we all know that patients' oral hygiene is not under our control, but theirs. So obviously the insurance company is looking to decrease their liability. Aetna will be basing their out-of-network fee allowances on the average amount insurers pay for services in dentist geographic area, as opposed to average amount that providers charge, which would lead to decreased reimbursements for dentists who are not in the network. And lastly, the third trend that's apparent is that MetLife and Guardian will be leasing their networks to each other effective yesterday. You need to opt out if you don't want to be part of this agreement. So that's it for me. I probably finished up all the rest of the time allotment for the whole thing, but if you have any questions, be happy to answer them if I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Limberakis. It was pretty interesting items there in the ADA news. Definitely would be interesting to see when that goes to the PA Council on Dental Benefits, or Dental Benefits Committee rather, what their feedback is on that. So this is the Q&A portion of the webinar. So far, I've not seen any questions come up in the box. Just remind everybody, you have that control panel on the right. Click on the arrow next to questions and type in there and just send it. We will read it out and direct it to the appropriate panelist. While we're giving a few minutes for our audience to think of any questions, do any panelists have any questions for any other panelists? Oh boy. Well, this is usually a good sign that, you know, you've done such a great job informing everyone that they can't think of a single thing that they want to ask to follow up.
I did have a question, Ward, Michael Korch was very kind enough to answer me directly, although I did direct it to him. But I'll pose the question to everybody, and that is, with the workforce numbers going down in the assistance category particularly. I was curious if, are we seeing an increase in the number of EFTA EFTA students compared to chairside assistants? And Mike was kind enough to respond. If you want to do that verbally, you could, Mike. I'll let
yes. So, not to interrupt, but you know, on a national, we're fortunate to have a state that has EFTA as a licensed dental assistant, and so any information we're getting at a national level, we're one of there are states that do not have EFTAs, obviously, but also have different form of assistance. So that is just straight across a dental assistant checking one box.
Yeah.
But I
And
said,
we will,
if we want to do this, and that's just where we're getting pushed, that recommended from the ADA at the national level, to get some into the states. Wisconsin's kind of leading the way. They just got a $20 million grant from their state to open up 2 new hygiene programs and 4 to 7 dental assisting programs, which was featured in the ADA news. But again, it was at a state level push that they were able to accomplish that.
I did want to respond that the PDA board did allocate $2,500 for pursuing those events and conferences of counselors, et cetera, to project dentistry as a field of, as a profession to go into, whether it's at the assistant hygiene or dentist level. So we in Pennsylvania are doing our thing. I don't know if CDP has considered asking ADA to support efforts to go to career days and things like that. Has that been discussed at CDP?
Yes, and resolutions are out there to present to the House for this year. Till they're, I guess, approved, I can't report on, but that's the big push. Not only, we're talking trade schools, your junior colleges or, local colleges, to, push for hygiene programs, or just even dentistry as a whole, being marketed again to, we'll say, at the high school level, through guidance counselors and, just getting information into, career centers at high schools and beyond. So those are, resolutions that are being made and being taken to the House.
while we're on this topic, I would just throw out too, a reminder that it was just in this past year or so that Central Penn College got a new EFTA program approved by the state board, which it's just starting out, but it hopefully will help contribute to increasing the overall capacity overall capacity and then overall workforce of EFTAs and PAs. And couple questions have come in from Dr. Friedman. Is there an MLR bill moving through the Pennsylvania legislature? Yes, and I would say there's one that's been filed, and there are negotiations that are ongoing that would determine exactly what the final language will be. As filed, it was essentially a transparency bill that would require reporting of dental loss ratios. There was an effort made to amend it to include the NCOIL model language, which initially dental insurance companies appeared to be agreeable towards, but the last we've heard from legislative staff, it sounds like they're less agreeable than they originally were. So negotiations are ongoing, trying to come up to some sort of consensus language, but the short answer to the question is there is such a bill, and at some point I would hope this year we'll see it beginning to move. because we either have achieved that consensus on language or it's close enough, we can at least force a vote. And it's just a continuation, I believe, of your prior question there, Dr. Friedman, of whether it's being considered. That, yes, short answer. That's all I see in the question box at this point in time. And I don't think anybody's going to be too upset if we just shut it down a little bit early tonight. So I will take this opportunity then to go ahead and remind everyone that we did record tonight's session, and PDA has a library of all kinds of videos, whether it be Front Street 411s, various kinds of continuing ed programs, yoga, or these leadership webinars, but they're all accessible from our library on the PDA website. Typically, it's about 48 hours before it's posted there, but if you found this content very beneficial, I encourage you to urge your colleagues to go and watch the recording when they have an opportunity. And with that, we express our appreciation to everybody for joining us tonight. Hope you will join us again in 2 months. As is our pattern, it's every other month, and we alternate Monday and Tuesdays. So we'll be seeing you again August 6th at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to thank again our panelists, Drs. Korch, Dr. Boyle, Dr. Limberakis, Dr. Davis, and Sara Morris. Great job tonight, and thank you to everybody for joining us. Have a great rest of your Monday evening.
Oh, thank you.